Well, I could not be more excited for a long overdue conversation with Fabrizio Del Maffeo, who is the CEO of Axelera. Welcome, Fabrizio.
Thank you for offering me the chance to talk to you and to talk about Axelera. Very happy to be here.
Absolutely. We've exchanged messages and have known each other for quite some time, and to have the chance to be able to pull the curtain back and allow our audiences to be able to enjoy the insights that you bring is a delightful chance. And so, before we jump in, I'd love for you to just give a high level summary of your background.
As I trained as engineer in telecommunication, which is close to microelectronics. I spent most of my life working for large international corporations in embedded computing, custom computing, Internet of Things, companies such as Advantech, which is today the largest company in IoT and embedded computing. Then moving to ASUS, where I led the development of AAEON in Europe, which is a subsidiary focused on custom computing. And then I decided to quit in 2019 because I saw an opportunity. And after 1.5 years of research and putting together a team, we started in 2021 Axelera AI.
Excellent. Well, you know what? I always like starting with the question: was there a pivotal or seminal moment in your life when when you knew you wanted to become an engineer?
I grew up when I was little. I always liked to build things. Um, and it's the reason why eventually I decided to become an engineer. But I think there was a pivotal moment during my career at university where I realized that instead of building just technology, I wanted probably to build something more than that, that is a company, which is different. And in that moment, I also had a doubt, maybe I should change faculty, do something else, or maybe do a master, but eventually ended up to work in a perfect space, which is technical product management for a hardware company, which is a kind of a bridge between pure product development and market development, which is the first step for becoming an entrepreneur and start developing a company, I think.
Awesome. And for those in North America that may not be as familiar as I am with Accelerate AI, can you tell us a little bit about what you guys are building?
Yes, we are building an accelerator, an AI accelerator, to accelerate AI workload in devices, in embedded devices at the edge, but also scaling further in the direction of enterprise servers and more. We have today the most powerful edge accelerator in the market with the highest efficiency, power efficiency, but also the highest throughput per dollar, and it's available.
Well, speaking of Accelerate, you guys have been just on a tear. The momentum behind you is extremely exciting. Back to back funding rounds, over 65 million. I think you've raised over 200 million to date.
Correct.
What will that funding, the recent funding rounds, enable you and the team to do?
We started, the first product is Metis, and the first product, Metis, is targeting edge devices. As I said, it's the most powerful and efficient and cost-effective device for heavy workload at the edge, with the main focus on computer vision, although the product can also support a small language models. But with this funding, we are extending our market beyond the pure edge devices. And we are going in a direction to accelerate workload inside enterprise servers, supporting a large language model with new product lines that are coming. One product line very soon, and another one that's uh, we are developing right now will be ready in 2027 and is part of this Euro HPC consortium, which aim to deliver to European high-performance computing center a powerful accelerator to accelerate workload in these data centers.
Very, very cool. And so the last count that our internal team had was over 220 AI hardware companies that are focused in that domain. Now, fortunately, you're not competing against all of them because only a handful of them are leveraging digital and memory compute. Why did Axelera decide on this approach, and what does DIMC offer that other architectures aren't?
Yes, when we started this company, we look at all the AI workloads out there, and it was clear that we had to solve two problems. One was accelerating vector matrix multiplications in a very efficient way and cost-effective way, because these vector matrix multiplications represent 70 to 90% of any AI workload. And the other thing to be done was to find a technology which could give flexibility and programmability to our hardware. And we ended up with two technology. One is the in-memory computing, and the other is the RISC-V computing. In-memory computing gives a unique advantage in accelerating vector matrix multiplication. No other technology can beat in-memory computing in throughput per dollar and throughput per watt. You have such high density of computing in a small area that you cannot achieve it with any other approach. And RISC-V gives the flexibility to program the architecture and to solve all the other computations that you have in any neural network. But when we started, actually the question was, should we go analog or digital? You have to consider that the team of Axelera is very experienced, because the founding members of Axelera come from IBM labs in Zurich, including my co-founder, CTO, Evangelo Eleftheriou, and himself, with a team of people that join us, started working in neuromorphic computing and in-memory computing in 2015, right? Taping out multiple chip in phase change memory, analog. And then we have a team also from IMEC with experience in SRAM, analog in-memory computing. But when we mapped the network and we talked to customer, we understood that analog was probably not the right approach because of accuracy. If you want to work in business to business, customer wants to keep accuracy. If you want to work in edge computing, you need to approach 100 or 1,000 customers, support 1,000 customers, and you can't fine tune each single customer. You need to give them the tool to work independently. And therefore, we decide to essentially pivot immediately when we started to digital in-memory computing, which gives the benefit of throughput that you have in analog, and the benefit of the precision and accuracy which you have in digital. Therefore, we decide to go this way.
That makes a lot of sense, and pivoting early is a common theme in the successful startups. Now, I've been paying very close attention to the news and the press releases, so you might have a little bit of trouble picking one. But is there a recent customer success that has left you most energized or excited?
Everything is about customers, right? Technology comes first in the early beginning, but then customer replace technology in any choices that we make. When we started this venture, we started with the idea to give to the folks out there, to customers, a powerful tool which allow them to invent new things, to unleash a new wave of innovation. And therefore, today, when I see an happy customer, I'm the happiest person in the world, because we are not anymore in the phase where we celebrate because our technology works. Now which is important, right? In a startup, the first step is okay, it works, because you never know, right? If you are not, you have to celebrate also that phase, and if you are not doing something that may not work, it means that you are not innovating. Then that phase is past. But today, the most beautiful moment is when customers tell us, your technology works very well, we are very happy, and is really usable, which is very important. Having not only a piece of metal and hardware that works, but a software stack which allows customer to develop great things independently.
Absolutely. And, early on, you guys took a pretty bold stance. And this is what initially connected us as leaders and SBT and Axelera, is that you took a bold stance saying that efficient inference was the key to building AI responsibly. What's your view on responsible AI, and why do you believe that the topic is so important?
It's a good question. Any technology can be good or bad, right? Technology per se, as you cannot connotate a technology on as good or bad, but depends on the usage. In Accelerator, for us, it's we always thought that our mission should be democratize AI, give a great tool in the hands of everyone, because while software is already democratized, you have open software everywhere. The AI is not. It's very expensive in the hands of few companies and few corporations that essentially can control this market. And we think that we should first give this to everybody. That said, we have to be also we have to be concerned about AI to a certain extent, to the usage of that, and that's why we in Accelera we also have an approach which allow open source technology, open source software stack, but also security inside the chip, um, which is extremely important for the deployment for the customer to control their own application and be sure that their end user is not using for anything which should not be done.
Got it. Accelera, you guys have been widely celebrated by the Dutch government, and I'm curious what role you feel Accelera is playing and will play in terms of strengthening the overall AI ecosystem in Europe and beyond.
Well, we are. I don't see Accelera as just a Dutch company, European. We are a global player. And if you look, it's true that our headquarters is in the Netherlands, but it's also true that we have people in 17 countries today and offices in roughly 10 countries. And then we are really a typical company, a COVID company, right? Built up during COVID, completely decentralized, where we had to, to cope with the situation where we were in. But this also allowed us to build up a company which is resilient, because we have people everywhere, and also a company which can hire the best talent in any place we find them, which is pretty unique to find a semiconductor company with more than 10 offices at this stage. It's something unique. Then we are by far the largest AI semiconductor company in Europe, which is good, but it's not our scope. Our scope, as I say, as you can imagine, is to be a global leader, a global player, and that's why I'm calling here from United States. I'm here each month. We have a team here. We have a board which is balanced between Europe and United States. Then we are really a real global player.
Absolutely. And another unique element to your organizational structure, in addition to being distributed, is you don't have one or two co-founders. You have many co-founders. Can you talk to us a little bit about how that came to fruition, but also how you view that as being a competitive advantage?
I think that um, when we started the company in day one, we had 18 people essentially part of the project. Clearly, each person brought something to this company at different level, right? Evangelos and I as executive, but many other people brought their experience in product development, software development, hardware development, and therefore when we started and people ask, "Am I are we co-founders?" Said, if you feel it to be co-founder, it's completely fine because for me, you are here from day one and you are helping building the company. Like you're helping me and Evangelos. Therefore, why not? And this is the reason why you have so many co-founders. I would say many other companies would call the team as founding team, but in Axelera we are happy as long as people are happy and are helping us to build a great company.
Well, you are a builder of people, because one of the things I admire the most is how generous you are with your time. In particular, you seem very passionate about building up the next generation of talent, whether it be in business or engineering, and are willing to take time to speak to various universities, business schools, et cetera, et cetera. Can you talk to us a little bit about why you choose to do those things?
Because you have to give back. I think we are. You don't do this just for money. You don't do this just personal success. If you are, I think most of us, most of the entrepreneur out there, they are doing this because they want to have an impact and they want the society around us to improve. Uh, and the, the easiest things that you can do when you are building a company is to share with others the learning that you of your journey, to share the struggles, to prepare the others, to stimulate the others, to yeah. And I think it's important to give back as soon as possible. And since I can't give back money because I need more. I don't need less. I need more at this stage. At least I can give back advices, or sharing the experience and see if it works. Then I'm definitely spending time, and I will spend more time. And I see myself in future spending most of my time to give back.
That is really neat to hear. And, engineers have more choices than ever where to take their talents in terms of developing technology that will shape the future of AI. How has Accelera been able to compete against larger players, more established players within the AI domain to attract the best and the brightest?
I think on this we were very well positioned because unfortunately in Europe there is a lack of companies who are willing to challenge the status quo and a lack of entrepreneurs that wants to take risk. Therefore, when we pitched to these super talented people um, who joined us eventually, and who used to work in companies like Google, Qualcomm, Amazon, Intel. What they saw is an opportunity to make a real impact, working in a company with great ambitions. A company wants to be American in the mindset, then go fast, innovate, take risk, less European on this. And all of this working from Europe, actually, or wherever they are. Because, as you know, we don't care, to be honest, where people stay. We don't ask people to move. And many people love this opportunity to make an impact.
If there was one or two cultural elements to Accelera that you would highlight that maybe an outsider wouldn't observe easily, that you're most proud of, what would those be?
I think the open communication, you don't see it. We are very open. We try to. There is hierarchy in each company, but in Accelera, we really try to flatten the organization and to have open communication with everybody, and we see also in internal review that people are happy, they're not scared to confront with everybody, including myself. On this, we have a culture which is very, I would say, Dutch culture, where anyone can confront with the CEO and challenge the CEO. And this is something you don't experience, but I experience and stuff because people, you're always a challenge. But I think this is, I think it's great for people having access to the management and also challenge the management and the executives. This one, and the other is really the freedom with responsibility in taking decision and act. When you are, when you want to move fast and you are in a decentralized organization like Axelera, you cannot follow the typical decision-making process that you have in other corporations or companies. Then you have to delegate to people, and this is something that we are proud to have in Axelera. We trust people. People can decide. We have policy which are inspired clearly by probably the best practice from most successful company, American company in this case, like a travel policy where people can travel as long as they can also purchase things in the best interest of the company and the community. Then they are free to take this kind of decision. And I think this is very important to rely on people. I mean, if you are brilliant minds, you want them to decide and take a decision, right? You don't want to teach them what to do.
Absolutely. And as we close, you're clearly a man of great vision for the future, which is evident by not only your product roadmap, but also your willingness to give up your time for the future. If we're to fast forward 5 years from now, what impact would you like for it to be known that Axelera AI had on the world?
I think it's exactly the vision that I shared before. I would like to see our product to power devices and solve problems that today are not solvable because of existing constraints. For example, I would love to see accessible and cost-effective medical devices in the hands of thousands of doctors everywhere in the world with AI powered, and this because Axera technology allowed to do so. This is just an example. Then I think I would like to see this kind of impact from our technology. A real democratization of technology with a real impact on the quality of life of people.
My biggest cheers are going in your way because the humanity will be better because of your technology, and our entire audience is going to be better for the insights that you shared. So very, very humbly grateful
Cool.
for the time that you shared today.
Thank you so much for inviting me today.